Hey friends, like I'm running in hot today. Been going and meetings with people and phone calls and things, and here we are. I'm so excited. Ophir just launched a new product. These are the Velvet Bond matte lipsticks, and I had to go. They got sent to my old rental house. So there's like this portico where the door's locked, but you can see through it. So I took, the owners of the house are out of town. I don't have a key. And they were like, if you can get it, you can have it. Like, we just can't meet you till next week. And I was like, I need to show these today. I'm gonna try and see if I can take a mop and slide it in. I had no luck, but the neighbor was putting Christmas stuff out on his yard, and he's a tall guy, and I was like, hey, do you have long arms? You think you could help me with this mop handle? And sure enough, because I was like, my arms are thick. I've always had thick arms, and I could not get my arm in far enough to the front door. And the doors are like, it's like a little, has a locking portico, like gate, and then the front door. So you could lock that, you know, just like a little entryway lock. So took the mop, he took the mop. We got the lipsticks. So, and in time for the live this morning. Bravo, well done, job well done to the neighbor. And I was like, I felt so sneaky, and I was like, I promise, I've already talked to the owner, and you can check, like, the box has my name on it, like, here's my delivery. And he was like, I don't think you're stealing packages from your old house. Like, I'll help you do it. And so I was like, thank you. He's actually the general contractor who's been doing, like, the painting and light stuff and for this house. So I mean, we see him like almost every day, but I just felt like I'm such a rule follower. Are you a rule follower? Drop it below. I don't know if it's a firstborn thing, but like I don't like to do anything sneaky. I don't like to break the rules. I don't like to do anything I think I could get in trouble for. And when he came out and saw me holding a bright green gigantic mop, and I was like halfway in the door laying on the ground, like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I've never been happier to see somebody with long arms in my life. Good morning. Where is everybody tuning in from today? Drop it below. I am in Puerto Rico. We moved here over the summer. If you're new to following me, I just made a mess. We are here. Make a little bit of trim fit, and we're gonna get ready together. We are going to a baseball game tonight. That's like a big deal here. Like, so many famous baseball players come from Puerto Rico, and like everyone cheers, and it's supposed to be really fun, and we've just never gone. To be honest, it is because it is about 1,000,000 degrees in the summertime, and that's when we moved. But if you're ever gonna come visit me, December, 10 out of 10 recommend. December, January, February, March, even April. Don't come visit in June, July, August. It is literally will feel like you are on the equator. But right now, the weather is like seriously probably what heaven will be like. I'm not kidding you. It is so amazing. Okay. Ophir is on this video with us today, and they are going to do a big giveaway. So for every 100 shares, they're going to do a giveaway, and then also 40% off site-wide, which never happens. So if you have been wanting anything, even the new Velvet Bond lipsticks, even like anything, primer, lipstick, foundation, setting powder, you name it, everything, use the code GIFT, and you will get 40% off. Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, North Georgia. What's your temps today? Okay, a brand new dewy primer. Did you see how that just came out? I didn't have to cut the end, squeeze it out like an old toothpaste, because new primer has arrived. I love to stock up on things when they are on sale. I know I use this primer. I know I love this primer. It makes it to where my skin looks very hydrated and my makeup just lasts all day. If you were struggling with seeing like creases, wrinkles, fine lines, one day I'll do my makeup with primer and without primer and let you see the difference. It seriously is such a game changer. So it's gonna fill in all those fine lines, those little wrinkles, your pores. We all have them, right? The closer you get, the more you see. This is gonna give your makeup a smooth surface to sit on top of. So use the code GIFT when you check out and the link in the description of this video, and that will save you 40%. All right. I'm gonna get all my things together. If you didn't know, Ophir dropped brushes this month as well, and they are on sale too, like little makeup brushes, all of it. So I asked Adam, I was like, what do you wear to a baseball game? Like, I know, like, say back home we would go to a Braves game, we'd wear a Braves outfit, and he was like, just wear a t-shirt. I'm like, do you know the team colors? Do you know anything? Like, I need details. Nada. I got nothing. So I'm gonna go festive holiday. Negative 36 degrees. What? Well, how could you even go outside? The coldest I've ever been was Adam took me for my birthday to Chicago one year. We had just started dating, and he took me to Chicago, and we arrived, and it was a polar vortex. Has anyone ever experienced a polar vortex? I had never. It was the coldest cold. Like, my eyelashes were breaking off. That was so cold. I'm looking for my foundation brush. It was just frigid. But I would love to go back to Chicago. Anybody from Chicago? I would love, or likes to go. I would love to go back to Chicago at some point, because I really do think it was fun. We really didn't get to enjoy it as much. We did a beluga, like swim with beluga type thing at the Shed Aquarium, and that was so fun. This is the shade Coriander. It is from Ophir. It is the Skin Satin Foundation. They have an amazing foundation finder on their website that will tell you, like, based on what shade you use with another brand, what you need from them, which I think is so amazing. So I was born and raised in Tennessee, so I had never experienced anything like a polar vortex before. I'd actually only seen snow like a couple times. It isn't like a snowstorm. It is like you are now in the Arctic. It was crazy, so cold. I had on so many layers, and even then the wind chill just felt like my bones could break, like from cold. Oh, you're from Chicago? Don't come there now, it's so cold. Yeah, I'm gonna try, if we ever go again, there's a direct flight from here to Chicago. And I was like, that would be so fun. So maybe in the summer, if we have like a weekend or something, we could take the kids. Okay, look at that. If you're looking for something that just goes on, so nice. Like, you will get so many compliments on Ophir's foundation. I feel like I kind of look like George Washington right now, so I'm gonna fix my hair just a little bit so that it's not quite as goofy looking, but much better. And this is just a little clip from Home Goods. Okay, So then I'm going to go in with setting powder. This is not the shade I want to use. It's the shade, the lightest of the shades. This is fair, but I actually have this in the shade medium as well. I mean, I've obviously used it a good bit, but when I switched to medium, I just really love that one the best. It's like medium or butter is the name of it, and I don't know. I'll do one way and one with the other, and I'll let you see the difference. But either way, see how this one has kind of a little bit more of a yellow tone, but this does have a bright white, but I'll show you. Oops, just dropped my greens. I found my greens in a box. I was so excited. I need to add them to my trim fit, and I'm gonna try and down this and get some extra energy. Okay, so this is the lightest color. So you can kind of see the difference. Their setting powder just blurs it just gives you that like airbrushed look. It's so nice. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with the medium and I'll show you how this kind of has just like more of a yellow tone to it. Versus the white. Either of them work great, but sometimes I think it's nice to see. I just feel like that yellow brightens me up a little bit more, but they fill in. So I like using a dewy primer and then I use setting powder. And so I just use a little bit on a fluffy brush, and it's enough that fills in those creases, but I still kind of have like I just go under my eyes with it and right in my T-zone, and I still have a very hydrated look. If you use a matte primer, I don't recommend using a setting powder as well, because unless you're just a very oily person. If you're oily, that's different. But that's kind of how I would decide what you need for your primer. If you need dewy, it's because your skin is more dry to normal. If you need a matte primer, it's because you are very oily, or you don't like the look of any sort of dewiness. You love that matte look, then do a matte primer. So less is best. If you feel like it gets in your wrinkles, use like a really fluffy brush and dust it softly. Try doing it that way. So Ophir does have a tinted moisturizer. It doesn't have SPF, but it is amazing. I used it on yesterday's live, and it is the Ophir Sheer Skin Hydrating Moisturizer. I love when I'm like self-tanned, which I showered, and that's just so nice when you wash all that like layers of tanner off, and you're like, oh, it just feels so good. But I used this over my self-tanner, and that way I kind of don't look like not as put together. Not in my office yet. No, the office is so full of boxes, and I have no office furniture. So I am at what will eventually be like, it's just my keys? I have it. You need it? Yeah. Is everything okay?
Everything's fine. I should have every car.
Who's got baby? You good?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm just living in your car.
Okay, watch the baby. I'm like, where's that baby? Okay, Ophir wants to know, what is your go-to makeup item? If you haven't already shared this video, comment, share below. In the midst of the grand move, I broke a current blush. This is when you know you like really love it. When you're like, I don't want to get rid of it. I have this problem just in life in general. Like at the end of my life, my children are going to be like, we have to go through all mom's stuff. She has like broken things, half-used things everywhere. But if I will get a new blush, it didn't survive the boxes, the moves, the dropping. But this color is so beautiful. They are highly pigmented, and use a fluffy brush and barely put any on it. Like even that, it's kind of too much. And you're going to put this on. This is the shade Current. And I'm going to also use a bronzer. If you ever feel like you got too much, you can take your foundation brush. I'm gonna go just right on the very like top of my nose, kind of a little pink, looks like a sun kiss. Not a lot, just a little. This color, if I had passed this in the store, I wouldn't have bought it. But I saw a friend using it and I was like, could not order fast enough. I like to take my foundation brush and just tap over where it began and where it should end, you know, just like nicely blend it. Blush has a way of like lifting your cheekbones. It has a way of like where it brings your eye in and just gives you such a youthful look and really brings those cheekbones way up. Don't drop it. Don't slam it. Be careful with your blush. But it's so pigmented, it's literally gonna last you until you do something like I did, which was accidentally drop it. Which no one's probably surprised because I am just the worst dropper. Like of all, I just have like slippery fingers or something. It's like my brain forgets. I'll be like, oh, I need to grab something else, and it's like completely forgets that I had something in my hand. Going in with a fluffy brush. This is just like Ophir's new crease brush. We're gonna do the outer corner of my eye with this. And I'm gonna go under. It really is like my favorite blush. It's also one that's so unique and so different that people will be like, what is it you use? Like, what do you, my girls were getting their hair done the other day, and the guy who was doing their hair, he was like, can I ask you, like, what do you have on, what blush are you wearing? Because, like, what makeup do you use? He was like, I do weddings, and your makeup just looks so good. And so, like, I sent him a link for it, and I was like, you have to try this. He's like, I think that would be so beautiful for, like, wedding day makeup. And I was like, it would be. It's really that good. That's when you know it's good, when you're like, I would put this on someone for wedding day makeup. Rachel, the code for 40% off, you have to use the link that's in the description of this video, and then use the code GIFT, G-I-F-T, like I gift you the world. Okay. Going in. A little bit of bronzer. Right under where we like used our blush. A little under my lip, a little down my nose. And I like to contour around my hairline. So today we are gonna go and look for furniture for the office, and hopefully at some point, it's here they like take a really long break for Christmas. Everything's a party. And so it's what we're finding out. And they take a really long break for Christmas, like 3 weeks off is what most people are taking, like literally 3 weeks. And you're like, what? I don't think I have enough like family or partying in me. The link's not working. Let me put it here. Let's see. There you go. Try that. I'll pin it. Code GIFT for 40% off and that link. And Ophir, if you can look at that and make sure that link that we were sent is working. And if not, put it in the comments. That would be amazing. You just received your Ophir and you absolutely love it. You love the blending brush, so easy. Yay, Rhonda! Am I gonna do wallpapers and pretty colors? I'm not sure. Right now I'm just trying to get it. There were so many, which I love color, but there were a lot of like interesting colors here. And for now I'm just going to, wallpapering is really expensive and the walls are like textured, so I don't know if you would see bumps. Has anyone ever tried wallpapering textured like concrete? And so I haven't even thought of whether or not we'll get to do that. But I mean, I love wallpaper, like I hope so. But right now I'm just doing the necessities, you know? It's a sad day, my friends. Ophir brow liner in the shade chocolate. I don't even think I have enough to do half a brow. So that is your hint to reorder while things are on sale. Stock up on things you love so that you don't have this happen when you're like, do I have enough to possibly, I mean, it is like nothing left. Nope. Corner. Yes, the code is GIFT. My favorite palette from Ophir, it is the Perennial palette. It has like such rich coppers and browns and just like cool tones, warm tones. It's a really big palette. You can also get it, like, here it is. This is probably it, right? This is either the Perennial or the Dune. Yeah, here it is, the Perennial palette. And so you get this whole palette 40% off. If you've never tried it, I'll show you. We'll add it to what we were working with for our, okay, this here. I love it because all the colors, you can use this as a good base and then mix pops of color with it and get any look that you want. It's such a good basic palette, and it's 40% off too with the code GIFT. So, oh, and Angel, don't wallpaper over texture. You did it once and it looked horrible. See, that's what I'm worried about. So I'm like, at that point we would have to make it smooth and then wallpaper over that. We're just not in a phase of life where I can even attempt. I am like some days I'm like, I don't know where all my things are. You know what I mean? Like my first 2 days we moved in. We've only moved a week ago. And the first 2 days I wore bathing suit bottoms every day because I couldn't find my underwear yet. And I was trying to get the kids all settled and I was like, I'll get to me, and that was like good enough. So at some point I am really excited. I will definitely like dive into like the creative part because I love that. I'm not there. I'm in the like survival part of life. So just being honest. I want to do that. I'm just going in with that like little lightest brown, and I'm kind of making this just a nicer transition, not as bold with that pink. It just warms it up a little bit. And then that darker brown. So it's gonna have like a plum undertone, but with browns. Yes, the Dune palette is so good too. If you don't like shimmer, the Dune palette would be better for you. This one is the Perennial palette, and it has shimmer here, which that color is stunning. Like, if I had something to wipe my hands on, I would swatch it. This color, I'll use my finger and I'll do it on my eye. It's so beautiful. You also could go in with like your smaller brush and really give nice shape if you don't want it like as fluffy and you want it more defined. This is the darkest shade of brown that's in that Perennial palette. Sometimes I'll just do this because it kind of gives your eye shape a little more of an almond eye look. And then once you put your mascara on, it's not as harsh as a liquid liner, but it definitely like draws your eye up. This is the Perennial palette by Ophir, and it is such a great palette. So depending on if you want, like if you use your finger, look how pigmented this color is. But if you want, I'll swatch it on my hand so you can see the difference. So if you use your finger or a sponge brush, you're gonna have a very, very pigmented color. If you use a fluffy brush, it will go on a little differently. So it will be much lighter and more buildable. So that's kind of the difference between the level of pigmentation is often what you use to apply it. So whether you're using a sponge, it's gonna go on very dense. If you're using your finger and patting it on, it's gonna be very dense, very like dramatic. If you use a fluffy brush, it's going to be really soft and more subtle. Then if you were to use like a stiffer brush, this one's going to be very defined as well. So can you kind of see the difference? All the same color, it's just the application was different. Which I love that you can get, like for example, this is like that stiff brush, and you're going to get like all of that. Different brush, same color. It's amazing. I just love makeup. Makeup is so fun to me. There is so much creativity, so many different techniques. It is just such a blast, and it's really fun to play with. And so if you feel intimidated by makeup at all, like start lighter, you know, I always recommend like you can like use less products, but you can build and add to it. So we're gonna add just a little bit of this. Again, if I wanted this to be like super, super pigmented, I would just use a stiffer brush. But I already have a little bit of that current undertone under there, and I do want that to pull through because I like those colors. So I only bring that darker color to about, like if you held something up where your iris is, this front part of my lid, I do a lighter color, and then starting here is when I transition with that like light brown, and then I'll add the little pop of color just here to the end, and that really is gonna open your eye up, and it's a really pretty look. Okay, going back in with my broken blush. I hate when I do stuff like that. To be honest, I probably dropped this 100 times. It's kind of like dropping your cell phone. It's that last time it'll get you. So here's that current shade. It was the blush we used, and now that I have some brown going on, I'm just gonna add a little bit of this color right back to it because I just want the tiniest bit where you like can't tell what's which, you know, like, oh, that's exactly where she used currant, or that's exactly where she used that rust, but all of them together, oh, I feel like this is if I had to call this look a name, I'll call this like a winter cranberry like look. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. love makeup. Are you a makeup person? I used to, so I know I said I like never break the rules, but in middle school, two things that I would get in trouble for, they were kind of really the only thing I can think of that I never snuck out, never did drugs, I never like I wasn't sneaky unless it was about makeup. I would so I would use my lunch money and have friends buy me makeup, or I would buy bubble gum, and then I would sell the sticks of gum and like make my money into more money. And juicy fruit, that was my big seller. And so, because there was a gas station down the road and you could get juicy fruit. Anyways, long story short. So I would get extra money, then I'll have my friend who her grandma would buy us stuff. I would have her get me makeup. I would hide my makeup in my backpack. This is in like 7th, 8th grade. And then I would do my makeup at school. And at that point I didn't have glasses, so I'm sure it was horrible. And I would do my makeup in the bathroom, and then when I had to go home from school, I would use the hand soap in the bathroom and wash my face off and get in the car line. So I had makeup on during the day, and that was great until one day my parents came to school to get me like early for a doctor's appointment I didn't know about, and I had gotten so much trouble. And so I wasn't allowed to like wear makeup, which is really funny that they were so against it, and then it's kind of comical that this is what I do for a living. And my dad actually like watches my videos and is like so like loves how creative I am. He just didn't want me wearing it in 7th grade, which I can understand. I have a 7th grader, and to be honest, I did my makeup a little, go big or go home. And so like I loved like very bold makeup looks from a young age. And so that was one of the things. Did you have any, what was your things you did when you were younger that you're like you weren't supposed to do but you did it? Anybody have like a little story time? Any confessions? If they're too bad, don't confess. Take it to the grave. But also, I wasn't allowed to borrow clothes from people, which I didn't really have. We got all of our clothes like from the thrift store growing up, and I didn't really have like cute clothes, but I had friends that had cute clothes, and I would sneak and I would borrow their clothes. And man, the biggest spanking I ever got in my life was over a pair of K-Swiss tennis shoes. Does anybody remember K-Swiss? K-Swiss tennis shoes, I borrowed them, and man, I got caught with them, and I was in so much trouble. And I know it was because if I ruined it, we didn't have the money to replace it. It was just so devastating to me that like I had friends who didn't care if I wore it, and they didn't want me to wear it. And I was like, and I now love thrifting, so it's nothing against thrift stores. Like I genuinely love it. I'm looking for a non-dried out mascara. I know I have one in here because I used it yesterday. So anyways. Let's see. You weren't allowed to go to the movies, and you would sneak in when you were a teenager. I also snuck into the 99-cent theater. Not snuck. I was with my friend. Her name was Erica. I was with her, and her stepdad said, y'all can go to the movies. And I knew I wasn't like allowed to be dropped off at the movies. But I told them, I'm not really like allowed to be dropped off at the movies. And he was like, I'm just down the street, you're totally fine. So that was like, and it was for the movie The Flintstones. But that was the wildest. And we did nothing wild. It was like me and Erica, like at the Flintstones. Living on the edge, baby. You weren't allowed to wear makeup or pants. I think that's why you can't do your eyes now. You never learned. Oh, well, we can learn together, because when I started doing this as like I wanted to do makeup tutorials. Like I saw people doing it and I wanted to. And if you were to watch my first 100 videos and then how they are now, like you really do get better the more you do it, and you get better the more you try. And my biggest tip will be to do it when you don't have, a lot of times I think we wait, like we want to try something fun because it's like, okay, I have a dinner party, so I'm going to try this. That is not the time to try to do makeup, like fancy makeup, because there's so much pressure. Does it look okay? Does it not? Your mood, all of it. So practice when you don't have anything, like you're going to the Walmart or you are just at home and you're gonna be washing your face and you want to try something new. Like I would recommend that trying it in those moments, because I'm gonna lose my mind if I cannot find this mascara. And I promise we will get to the lips. But that's what I would recommend, is like take a look off watch a tutorial or take a look off of Pinterest or whatever, and then try it then. Because then it's not like, oh no, I'm running late for a Christmas party and now my face looks like I've been scrubbing on it all day. Okay, we're just gonna have to do this, my friends. Your mom sold Mary Kay. Makeup was never a problem in your house. So my grandma sold Mary Kay. And then I tried selling Mary Kay, but I wasn't very good at it. Isn't that crazy? It was really hard because I had so many young kids and you had to do home parties. And so it was, once the online thing worked out, my goal would be, I knew if I could sell 5 mascaras, I would make $25. This was with the company that I was working with at the time. I don't work with, but that was like the way that it worked. And that was my goal. I was like, I would go live during nap time or late night lives. And as like a stay-at-home mom, if I could make $25 a day, that just made like a huge difference for us. And so sometimes I would go live and there would be like hardly anybody. And so, so anyone who's ever shopped my links, I'm so grateful. And that is how I've been able like to stay home and grow a business and, you know, help people learn how to do things. And I try and do, I think a lot of videos that I watched, it would be like 15 different steps. And I try to do very simple, duplicatable looks that look really cute, but they're very easy and duplicatable. Every now and then I'll bust out like we can use tons of stuff. But I think it's so good to learn like the basics and then how to pop in a color or two. Yep, that's where it is. Is your mascara in the car from church? Yep, I shoved it in my bra to do it on the road. And I guarantee it's still there. So this one is the Ophir's Comfortable Smudge Proof Mascara. And to be honest, this is an old tube. I can just tell by using it. You'll get a couple months out and then it'll be time for a new one. And this one's just a little older. It still works, but a new tube, your lashes are so long. Yes, Ophir's blushes and eyeshadows are unbeatable on pigmentation. Very little and no kickback either when applying them. Yeah, you don't get any of the fallout. It really is so good. The 12 Days of Christmas, do I know how to apply for that deal? It should be on the last checkout screen. Your problem was you would use all the money you made to buy more stuff for you. Lisa, you and me both. So Ophir's mascara has castor oil in it, and it helps lengthen and strengthen your lashes too while you're using it. Why don't I just throw the old ones away? Normally I'm live when I'm doing my makeup, so to get up and go throw it away while I'm doing this, I need a trash can, I guess, in my area. And so I just shove it back in the thing and then I'm always digging for it. But that would be great. I rarely ever get ready not doing it on a video. I normally get ready with you guys. And so just toss it in. And then out of sight, out of mind. After live's over, I'm like, okay, we got to get out of here. or we've got to go do this, or I got to go change a baby's diaper. And then I completely forgot, hey, same thing with the reorder. It's like, but I don't know if I'll be that way when my kids are grown. I have had kids, young kids, since I was 19. So I had Christian at 19. And so my whole adult life, I've been a mother. And so I always am thinking, like, I wonder if when my kids are big, if I'll be like, have it together more because I'm not as spread between all these children. But I don't know, we'll see. Anybody else open your mouth like really crazy when you're doing your mascara? Just me? You can really get in there. Ophir has a waterproof mascara and a regular mascara. This is the regular. Try to make sure everything looks pretty even. I'm gonna go in with this brighter color and just, it's like a really little white. I'm going to put a pop of it right here just to really brighten up that inner corner. Ooh, Ophir said they're about to pick a winner. So this is a giveaway live. They're on here with us. And sometimes I forget when they're on. And I just have like talked about stories of how I used to sneak makeup into middle school. And then I was homeschooled for high school because I socialized a lot. First, this is what happened. It was like this bad cycle. My grades were bad, so my parents grounded me from everything. Like AOL Instant Messenger, no way. Not allowed anymore. Like none of the social things, no football games, whatever. So then it was like, I wanted to hang out with friends. The only place to do that would be at school. So then they said, if you don't get your grades up, we will homeschool you the rest of high school. This was in 8th grade. And I was like, there is no way my mom's gonna homeschool me. And I came home with a D. And that was it, my friend. I never went back to public school. And I cried for years, like actually sobbed. And so, I ended up working at 14 and started working, and then I learned a lot of life experience, and then I graduated early, so it ended up being like a good decision. I did not end up in some of the same trouble some of my other friends did, so honestly it was probably like the Lord's blessing, but I was so sad. So here we go. Here are the 3 colors I have. They have multiple colors of this. This is blush, hibiscus, and fig. So I'm gonna swatch them on my hand. I did not swatch eyeshadow with. Don't forget, use the link in the description of this video and the code GIFT, and you will get 40% off. So let's do it. Fig. I don't know if I'm like capable of using my left hand to, it's like my left hand doesn't work almost. I have one child that's left-handed. Okay, that's the shade Fig. And this is the Velvet Bond. It's a 24-hour lipstick. And it's a matte, hydrating matte lipstick. Okay, this is the shade Hibiscus. I almost want to try them like one by one. And then, so these, you can also use the code GIFT, which is 40% off, and it's on a new product. So it just launched. Typically, they don't allow you to use the discount on a new product, but on this, they are, which is amazing. Okay. Okay, this one is the shade Blush. I also think these are gonna be beautiful to make like a nice little ombre. All right, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna get, I'll bring you with me. Oh, my bathroom is so messy, so I'm not gonna show you, but I'm gonna get a little cloth. I'm gonna unplug you from the wall. Here we go. So the lipsticks are like significantly on sale if you use that. So that's really exciting. Oh, you're gonna see the messy. It's like actually messy. Oh no. Well, here, look at this. They are painting the outside of our house, so it has tape on the windows. Hi. Hi, friends. All right, I'm gonna just get a, I mean, we all have laundry, right? What? This is just, we should have dirty laundry. I haven't caught up from the move, and we have to have someone install something for the dryer. It's like a propane type thing. So, anywho, just, I'll get caught up one day. Okay, so this is just a pre-cleanser, and I'm gonna do each color on its own on my lips, and then I'm gonna do a cute little ombre. But I need, if you're ever doing this, we're friends, just have your friends over, they'll see your mess. We all have it. Maybe not, maybe if you don't have as many kids running around. Mine keep me like busy with all the things. Almost all the stuff's up. We are all, I would say we're like 96% like done, and then from the move, and then we are just in the like catching up in real life. We have our washing machines, we have our dryer, we're good, we're solid. Okay, going in with the shade Fig on its own. I do love to ombre my lips, so, but I'm gonna do just Fig on its own. If you go out of the edge, just wipe it off. So typically my rule is if you do a really dramatic eye look, I do like a lighter lip look, or like lighter in the center. If I was doing more just like neutral eyes, I would wear a bold lip. I also would recommend, I didn't do this the first time, but it is wet. It's like a nude tube. I would recommend taking some of the excess off because it's a little wet straight out of the tube. So this dries, and once it dries, like, look. So this is a 24-hour, this color is screaming like fall, just wonderfulness. I wear it with a chunky cream color. I think with the code gift, it makes it $15. Okay, I'm going to take this one off. That was the shade Fig. Okay, use a little bit of Palmafer's Erase Pre-Cleanser. This stuff just takes makeup off, but I'll show you. That's amazing, actually. That's fabulous. Okay. And this is fabulous. If you've never used this pre-cleanser, will change your life. Hence why I went and got my little makeup foundation brush, because it gets a little messy. Ooh, a single swipe locks in kissable color that lasts all day, all night. You could also use coconut oil to get off a lip stain, but this is like a lipstick. It's like fabulous. Okay, going in with the next shade. This is the shade Hibiscus, and then I'm gonna come up with like a little combo shade of the two together. It is really hydrating, it's really moist, and then it dries to like a no longer a wet consistency, it just dries. So while it's still wet, if you have anywhere you want to move it, you move it then. Okay, that was the shade Hibiscus. Yes. Which I think is like a really good everyday color. Okay, and these are those cleaning cloths. They're in my Amazon storefront. They're a bestseller and they are so great. And I use them all the time, especially for stuff like this that you don't want to ruin a washcloth. Which one's your favorite so far? And I kind of go a little outside my lip line just to give them a fuller look. I do have lip filler. I saw a comment asking if I use that. I have naturally God-given tiny lips. So I had to dissolve all my lip filler. I'd been getting them for about 7 or 8 years. I guess 7 years. And I had to dissolve it last year. And because they just gotten, like, if you do it too much over time or whatever, it just like builds up. So I dissolved them all and I kind of went like smaller. And so I did a 1 syringe of, it's called Kiss is the brand. And then about 6 months later, right before we moved here, I got half a syringe put in. So I have about 1.5 syringes over the last 1.5 years. Maybe a little longer. About that time frame. And that's what I have in. And I've always been really open about it. Also, if you ever knew me before, it would be like obvious because I went from having very tiny lips. I was thinking about it today. My grandmother always complained, I like inherited hers. And she's like, if she had been around when filler, I think it would have changed her confidence completely. I have no doubt. Okay, this is the shade Blush. Okay, on its own, this is not a color I normally would wear by itself. If you have darker skin tone than me, this color would look beautiful. But this is going to be amazing as an ombre. What I mean by that is, let me show you. Oh, this is kind of cute. This reminds me of the middle school days where I used to take concealer and put it on my lips. And like mix it with lip gloss. Did anybody else do that? That was like such a trend. Okay. Let's try it. So today, this is how I would actually, this is my plan. I'm gonna do a little ombre. I'm gonna do this, take off the excess because, okay. I'm gonna just go in line with this color. This is that Fig. And honestly, this on its own, just like this, is beautiful. Work while it's wet. When it dries, it's staying there all night, so. My hand's clean. I love a color that you can build, like make your lips look fuller. then I'm gonna go in with that lighter shade. If you wanted like not quite as light, you could go in with the darker one, but oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, this blush is so beautiful. And then just play with them until you get it the way you like it. We're gonna just play all together. The hibiscus. That's why makeup is so fun. I also hate getting lipstick on my teeth. And so this is great because once it's on, you can like eat, you can do anything. Okay, a little more of that again, because we're just playing with it to get it how we like it. The ombre is beautiful. Somebody recreate this look for a Christmas party, seriously. Okay, let's go back to our other window because the light's a little different, doesn't have tape all over it. Like, you guys, seriously? How good is that? So, anyways, I didn't work quite fast enough right here. My pro tip would be, I can put a little more on it. My pro tip would be to work with like whatever section you're going to be rubbing in immediately, because it does dry quickly, but that's like one of the bonuses. So like right here, I just didn't quite smudge it fast enough because I put it all over and I worked in the bottom and I worked in this side, and by the time I made it here, it was dry. And so, but to be honest, that's one of the things I love about lives, because you can kind of talk about, you know, like, hey, this is, in case somebody else has that problem and you're like, how do I fix that? But I'm gonna fix it just by adding a tiny bit of gloss. This is Ophir's gloss in the shade Clear. It's like a lip plumping gloss. Are they even going to be able to handle this at the baseball game? I mean, I do feel like I'm a little overdressed for a baseball game, but somehow my the whole little look today turned out to be just the most fun. I feel like this would be so beautiful for an everyday, great with browns, great with creams, taupes, that like cranberry, Valentine. I mean, these are great. So anywho, I hope you guys have the best day. If you need anything, you can always send me a message. If you need links for anything, you can drop the word me below. I'll send them to your inbox. If you click the link in this video, then use the code GIFT, you will save 40%. So, anywho, the gloss will make it like, it's gonna stay, but it's not going to probably be as long lasting as this is going to stay for a long time. If you put a chapstick or a gloss over it, you will get transfer. Like, not crazy, but it depends on if you like the look of a glossy lip. I just wanted to show you options because it's just so fun. It's just so fun to know options. So, okay, anyways, I hope you have the best day ever. And if you need anything, send me a message. So, anywho, love you guys. See you tomorrow.